So hi everyone, welcome to this video and a very welcome back to the channel. A few things I'd like to say at the beginning. I'm very sorry this is a day late. I just haven't been able to get it out sooner. And I'd also like to say a very welcome to those who have recently subscribed. I don't know who you are, but it's always lovely to have people who would like to join us as a little community here. I would always say to people, if you've got your own questions or things you'd like to share or talk about with us, you feel free to drop your comments or questions in the comment section, but also you'll see in most of my videos I leave a link to my Instagram profile, and if you'd like to you can just send me a direct message, which some people have done in the past. But great to have your company. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen it or not. It's sort of irrelevant if you haven't, but if you'd like to see the iCard on screen now, you can go back to the previous video, which really sets the context for this episode. And in that one, we talked about the power of inflation in terms of eroding long-term debt. And we said it's perhaps something for you to be thinking about. What we didn't cover in that episode was the impact of inflation upon rents. And that's what I'd really like to share with you in this one. And there's really a bit of a story that sets the scene in terms of using this spreadsheet. And it goes something like this with other landlords and property investors. Josh, I've got a tenant in my property. They've been absolutely amazing. They've paid their rent in full and on time. And every time there's been a property inspection, it looks beautiful. They've really taken care of the property. It's 12 months on. I'm just not sure whether I should give a rental increase or not. Okay, sure, I understand that. So what's making you hesitant? Well, they're really good. I don't want them to leave. No, and I understand it too. Once you find a really good tenant, you want to hang on to them and look after them. Okay. So, what's inflation at the moment? Well, around about 2%. Okay, so what would a 2% increase in their rent of £600 per calendar month be? Well, 1% would be £6, 2% would be £12. So it would go from 600 to £612. Yep, cool. Okay, so do you think they'd leave for £612, an increase of £12 a month? Would they pack up their washing machine and dishwasher and their fridge and their freezer and all their belongings into boxes and go and try and find another local house, all within touching distance of their family, their friends, their social network, perhaps their employment, their schools, and pay thousands of pounds for the removal costs, only to move into a house that's probably going to be on the market for about £615 per calendar month because it's a year later? Do you think they're going to do that? Well, probably not, but we don't want to leave them in a worse position. You don't want to leave them in a worse position. Well, no, if they increase their rent, less money for them. Okay, is inflation local then? Does it just apply to your tenants? Well, no, inflation is a national thing. Okay, so would it apply to incomes as well then? Would incomes increase as well by perhaps 2%? Well, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, they would, yeah. Okay, so if a tenant is earning £20,000 in one of your property and they have a 2% increase, that's going to be, what, £20,400. Okay, do you think they'd be able to afford a £12 increase? Well, probably yes then. Okay, well, perhaps you'd increase it by 2%, the rate of inflation. And you see, the thing is, when you increase rents in line with inflation, not above it, I don't think that's appropriate. Not unless you've suddenly done a lovely renovation halfway through the tenancy and it looks lovely or whatever. But no, within line of inflation, it's very affordable. And here's the thing, it's also directly proportional to the increase they'll be getting from their own income sources. I say inflation is a national thing. So what I've got here, I've got two little charts. And in this first one, I've got this house that's renting out for £600 per calendar month. And over the course of the year, it's going to bring in £7,200. And using our example, we're going to say in the following year, we're going to increase rents by £12 a year, which is going to increase our annual rent to £7,344. And so on. And you can see what the increase, right down to year 10, where the rental increase for the year is now £8,777. Now, it's really important we point out that although that figure has increased, it's exactly the same purchasing power as £7,200 was 10 years previously. It will buy you the same holiday, it will buy you the same food and drink, the same amount of fuel for the car. All your costs is the same buying power, even though the value, the figure, has increased. This is what happens in this box if we put rents increase by 2%. And over the course then of that decade, you're going to have a total income of £87,614.75. That's not profit, that's just your gross rental income. And I've charted that over here. Now, this brings us on to another point. You see, if people landlords and investors like yourselves, don't increase rents, then really you don't understand the impact of inflation upon rental income. You do not understand the time value of money. Because really, if you don't increase rents, but your costs go up, then really you are staring bankruptcy in the face in some point in the future, 10, 20, 30 years time, if you do not increase rents. And let's just sort of like paint this picture for us here. Let's just say you take that £7,200 a year income, and let's say this inflation is still 2%. And now your buying power decreases, so that by the time you get to that same 10-year period, you are, in real terms, you're only bringing in £5,883 in terms of real spending money. You are less to spend, you have less buying power because you have not increased your rent. They've stayed at 7,200. You're still bringing £600 a month, £600 a month, £600 a month. But in real terms, you only have a buying power of £5,883 as 10 years ago. And over the 10-year period, you're now going to bring in a gross rental income of £71,736.71. And as you can see, if your costs keep going up, because you can bet your bottom dollar that your costs are going to increase for your electricians, your plasterers, your plumbers, your management, your insurance costs are going to increase, but yet you don't keep increasing, then eventually you're going to run out of any form of profit, you're going to subsidise it yourself, and once you've used your own savings, you are staring bankruptcy in the face over the long period. Particularly if you think this only goes to a 10-year period, what would that look like over 30 years? And if I was just to graph this on here, because I just can't get enough of Excel and graphs, you can see that these two are, the gap between them is widening, and it's very, very interesting and very important actually to point out that these are not different, a constant difference. These are actually divergent. Let's just increase this to 10%. And you can see this is now an exponential graph, and this is graph of decay, logarithmic. And you can see actually it's not widening at a constant rate, they are actually exponentially different. So you can see if you continue this graph down, so 20 years, you are going to end up being in a very sticky financial position. All because you wanted to keep a tenant, or because you didn't really understand the impact of inflation upon rents. So my advice to you would be consider increasing rents in line with inflation. Of course, there are things to think about. You do what you're right for you, but here's one reason why I think you should definitely consider it. Hope you found that one interesting. If you agree or disagree, as always, then please let us know. We'll love to hear your thoughts and your insights. We welcome hearing those. Thanks ever so much for your support. Again, really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you in the next one.